Do you know if your grandfather had a weapon?
Honestly, I don't, she said. When I went to live with my grandmother, my grandfather had already passed away.
The detective said, I'll need to take this to the station.
Do you need to? Rowan asked.
We can put it back in the safe deposit box until you figure out where it came from, who it's registered to.
The detective hesitated. We don't know that it's been used in any crime. You can come here and get it if it has. She looked at the manager and said, I would like to open the jeweler's box.
Go for it, they all said. With everybody watching, she undid the clasp and opened the top. Inside were coins, all in special little pouches, all in an array. She looked at Rowan and said, Well, look at that. There was a coin collection. The bank manager made a note on his inventory and said, Something else is here, too. He held up a note and read it. To my beautiful Isabella, I hope this will be the nest egg that you never need to use. Signed, Robert.
Isabella is my grandmother, she said. Robert is my grandfather.
So he bought these and arranged for them to be left for her, as a nest egg, in case she ever was broke, Rowan said. That was a nice gesture, but who else would know about this? The detective asked. Because somebody cared enough to take her life over them.
I don't have any other family, she said, looking at him.
What about that third person on the previous will? Rowan asked. 2 of them were deceased, and the third? I looked it up this morning, the detective said. Steve. He's in jail for murder. She stared at him in shock.
Who did he murder?
He looked at her grimly. Your grandfather. Rowan watched the shock hit her as she sank into the chair between him and the detective. Rowan glanced at the detective. Not exactly said with any finesse there. I had no way to know she didn't know this either, he said. Rowan reached across, picked up her hands and whispered, It's okay. It happened a long time ago. She stared at him in shock, shaking her head.
My grandmother obviously knew this Steve who ended up killing my grandfather. I'm having a hard time believing this. And Steve is still in jail?
The detective nodded yes.
So maybe the question here is, at this point, Rowan said, does that Steve person who murdered her grandfather have any family?
I have already got traces happening, the detective said. He gave Rowan a grim smile. Remember that part about we know how to do our jobs?
I hear you, he said.
But how long ago was the murder of the grandfather?
21 years ago, he said. I came to live with her when I was 10, she said. I'm 29 now, so that was 19 years ago.
She thought about it.
That's probably about right.
So, your grandfather gets murdered. Nobody knows anything about this coin collection, at least as far as you know, except for your grandmother, obviously. The detective cocked an eye her way.
I can say this, grandmother never mentioned it, she cried out. However, she didn't mention a lot of things, including the fact that grandfather was murdered. She never talked about him, once we came together. It was as if we had just our life together, from that point on. I was dealing with the loss of my parents, and that was also her son who had died. She lost her husband, and then a couple years later her son, and she inherited a granddaughter at the same time.
The detective asked slowly, And your parents, how did they die?
In a car accident, she said. My father decided to take me along on a business trip. We all were driving across the state in bad weather and had a head-on with a semi-truck. It was deemed accidental at the time.
She looked at the detective and said,
I looked up all the details when I was 16, just in case. Plus my memory wasn't as clear as I'd have liked from my own trauma at the time.
Just in case of what?
Her lips kicked up. Just in case they may have run off and faked the accident. I was having an identity crisis and was looking to see what happened to them. Although I loved my grandma to death, I wondered if there was another answer. But they were dead.
Is the information that you found back then enough to satisfy you? Rowan asked.
Yes, and so did my grandmother's information. She filled me in with the details. My dad had a business trip planned. Normally he would fly, but my mother wanted to go with him this time, taking me along too. So my father drove instead. That decision killed them,